Hey everyone, Brad Porter here, filming from my garage on a Saturday evening. I want to talk about humanoids this week. Meta announced that they're developing a humanoid. Interestingly, OpenAI hired some Meta folks a couple weeks ago to build out their robotics initiative as well, building hardware. And then, big announcement that Figure is out raising 1.5 billion on a $38 billion valuation. Kind of shocking numbers. The I've obviously been on record. I've written some long form articles on why I think humanoids don't make a ton of sense. And let me share a little bit more where my perspective comes from. So I led robotics for Amazon. We looked at all kinds of robotic automation that we could employ, and we looked at every process path in every type of building that Amazon had, from a Prime Now delivery to the large box fulfillment centers to air hubs to last mile delivery nodes to every place that Amazon has uh, logistics work going on. We looked at how to automate it, and we got excited about humanoids. 2018, as I recall, we spent a bunch of time working with Agility. Amazon's still working with Agility Robotics. I think Agility is a great team, and their bipedalism is quite impressive. And we looked at every process path where that could be useful technology, and we found a lot. We found a lot of process paths where humanoids could potentially do quite meaningful work. Uh, but then we started to look at the practical realities of deploying humanoids. Very difficult to safety rate those systems. Bipedal robots are prone to fall if anything fails between actuation, sensing, perception. Anything in the electrical subsystem fails, that falls. And if it falls on you, that's a dangerous action. And so, okay, are we going to fence off humanoid robots? Well, most of the process paths that we needed required the robots to work collaboratively in and around humans. Most of these process paths ended up being what I call secondary material flows, replenishment flows, helping connect, one part of the operation to the next, maybe with hand carts, maybe with totes. And so as we and then we were looking at the cost. It's going to take a long time for the cost to come down. We're looking for how long it was going to take to deploy, and we were looking at the AI required to do this. All of it was incredibly complicated. And then you ask yourself, do you really need a human form factor? And you start to realize you don't. You do need something that can move boxes, totes, and carts around. You need material handling. You would like it to be as strong or even stronger than humans. And we just found what we wanted wasn't a humanoid. What we wanted was more in the class of a mobile manipulator. We didn't find anything really at the time. We developed Proteus as a cart movement robot, and Amazon's getting great use of Proteus right now. Um, and and so the question I get is, why humanoids now? What's the technology breakthrough that enabled humanoids now? The short answer is there isn't any. The We tend to think of like the world getting better on Moore's law, right? And Moore's law has been kind of dominating most of our lives, right? The amount of matrix math we can do every year is just more and more and more and more, right? And that's enabling this massive surge in AI right now. But if you go look at helicopters, if you go look at airplanes, if you go look at other, automobiles, they have improved, but they have not improved at anywhere near the rate that computers and other systems have, right? And so we don't see nearly the same progression in motors and batteries. In fact, these RC airplanes and helicopters were largely enabled by lithium polymer battery breakthrough, but that was 20 plus years ago now. And we haven't really seen the energy density change and go up. And it's in fact why we don't see a lot of electric uh, helicopters or people move, because the weight energy density ratio doesn't quite work out for missions involving humans, and then the charge time. And so, we need, in order for things like air taxis to be electric air taxis to be really viable, we need a breakthrough in battery energy density. Once we get that, it'll work great, but we don't have it yet. Humanoids, there's nothing in the actuation, there's nothing in the sensing, there's nothing in the energy density, there's nothing in the materials that has changed in the last 10, even maybe 15 years, that it offers a significant breakthrough that makes humanoids relevant now. That said, the human figure, the human form factor has always been inspiring. People have always been amazed by humanoids. I really think all that really changed was that Elon went after this space. And when Elon goes after things, people pay attention, as they should. And now there's kind of a follow-on effect of, okay, Elon's doing it, it must be super big, it must work now. There's a lot of things Elon has tried that don't work yet or don't work now. Some things, that seemed impossible, like catching a rocket on chopsticks, are now doable. So, it's hard to bet against Elon. But on the other hand, he doesn't have a 100% track record either. I think the question we have to ask is what kind of future do we want, right? Do we want a future like iRobot with swarms of humanoid clones kind of chasing us around? Do we want a future that's maybe more like Star Wars, where there's a lot of kind of friendly service robots of different form factors helping in different ways? Do we want a robot future like Star Trek Next Generation, where Lieutenant Commander Data is a android mechatronic AI? I think the future's still ours to define. I personally believe we're going to have things that look more like Star Wars, where it's a greater diversity. We're going to have friendly, trustworthy robots. They're going to have the kind of emotional intelligence of the little mouse droid where Chewbacca, roars at it and runs away. So I think the future of robotics is quite interesting and quite fascinating, and going to be rich in diversity. I think what we're going to see in commercial environments, like those process paths that we were looking at Amazon, we're going to see material moving robots that move carts, grab totes, grab boxes, restock shelves, open the refrigerator, grab a Jello, grab a spoon, take it to a patient's bedside. We're going to see all kinds of helpful robotics doing a lot of the material movement that we have to do today. I don't think a lot of those are necessarily going to look like humanoids. So, by popular request, I've been asked to kind of do an Ask Me Anything LinkedIn live session. And so I'm going to do that Monday, 11 a.m. That'll be kind of a dry run. If it goes well, then I'll probably do one during the week when maybe more people can tune in. But we're going to try it 11 a.m. Pacific time, Monday. Check out my site, my feed. It was a little bit longer today, but wanted to share my perspective. And yeah, I hope you're all doing well. All right. Thanks, everyone.